So tell me the story about tech here, because tech was going down for a while and everybody was concerned about it. Now it's come back. NASDAQ 100 is back up. What's the future of tech stocks?
Well, we think tech stock has gotten a little bit narrow at this point. It's accounted for almost 40 to 45% of this year's S&P returns so far. The five largest tech stock names now make up the same market cap as the bottom 250 stocks in the S&P 500. So it is getting narrow at that top on a valuation standpoint. We are, as Abigail pointed out, way overdue for a correction in this. So we'd be looking at probably taking a little bit of profit here, holding a little bit of dry powder.
So, Oliver, what do the technicals show us?
Well, I think that one of the points that Darrell brings up there is something people have talked about a lot, which is to what degree this sort of crowding effect is in terms of the moves in those top 5, top 10 companies are affecting the rest of the market. And it indeed is there. I mean, again, I think I'll just sort of point to some of the stuff that we've done recently that kind of addresses the fact that this happens a lot of the time where you have that sort of leadership, just the way the skewness of market returns breaks down to where there is that leadership. What I think is pretty interesting along those lines is when you have this sort of weakness that's happened the past couple days in tech, not necessarily the rebound, but the Friday, Monday, what we had is it's sort of amount of dispersion that's sort of cropped up in the market, and I think it's pretty interesting where you look sector by sector. I was just looking at a report from BMO this morning that kind of breaks down how correlations have been falling apart, and I think that's a pretty interesting opportunity for investors that really haven't kind of seen that since the post-election moment where stocks are all kind of going in different directions. For a lot of people that manage money, for them that's an encouraging sign.
I mean, quite fascinating. You're just talking there of Darrell about the dominance of the certain key top stocks. I'm looking at the S&P 500 and the member weightings. Who is on the top 5 leaderboards? You dig into the Bloomberg terminal. Number 1 is Apple, then comes Alphabet, then comes Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook. We really are just dominated by technology here. The valuations are phenomenal, but at the moment, when you're looking at fundamentals, many say, look, the growth is there to support it, particularly when you're looking at companies such as Facebook.
Yeah, you're right, Caroline. I mean, when you look at what we walk into here, which is Q2 earnings season very quickly, the top performing sector, if you shelf energy because of favorable year-over-year comps, in earnings growth is going to be technology. Again, though, you've stretched valuations, we think, a little far. We think there's some other sectors like financials, as the short side of the yield curve has steepened, like industrials, like healthcare, that just pose a little better valuation right here. Tech is up 34% year over year as a sector, not just those top 5 names, but as a sector. That looks a little bit hot to us as far as getting ahead of the fundamentals.